És Ákos, meddig fogsz beszélni most? Egy fél óra, vagy 20 perc?
Hát valami a kettő között, valami 20, 25, 30.
Jó.
Nem, tudom,
Jó.
nem teszteltem le.
Now we are live at YouTube.
Okay, we are already live. Okay. So should I start?
Okay.
So let me somehow share this.
Öncelikle herkese merhaba. Bugünkü konumuz Kitan dili ve Kitan dili üzerine araştırmalar. Esas olarak da Macaristan'da yapılan çalışmalar. Bu Kitan dili bizle Türkçe çalışmalarla yakından ilişkili bir dil ve yakından ilişkili bir halk. En eski Türk yazıtlarından beri Türklerle çok yakındı bu Kitanlılar. Ama ne yazık ki Türkiye'de Kitan ve Kitan çalışmaları hemen hemen hiç bilinmiyor. Bizim için bir muamma. Bu konuyu doğrudan uzman olan bir hocamızdan ve uzman olan bir merkezden Macaristan'dan dinleyeceğiz. Akosh, now I talk just shortly about Kitan and Kitan studies. Please, freely you begin.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank Professor Ilmaz for inviting me to talk in this series about the history of Mongolistics. I'm about to share my screen. Tell me if it is visible. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can see the screen. Okay.
So today I'm going to talk about the history of Hungarian Khitanology, and especially about some achievements in the decipherment of the Kitan scripts. Okay, first I'd like to tell you a few words about the Kitans themselves, who were one of the nomadic peoples of the steppe area, of the grassland area, who could actually create their own state during the history. As you can see in this map, in the green area represents the territories that belonged to the Liao state during the 10th and 11th and the 12th centuries. As you can see, it covers most of what is now Mongolia, northwestern parts of China, Manchuria, north parts of Gansu, and some parts of Shanxi as well, and to the northeast up to what is now the border area of the Russian Federation, Mongolia, and Kazakhstan. So this is a huge territory that was unified under the Khitans during the 10th century. A few words about the history of the Khitans. The name is Kitan, and it is represented in Chinese script as Qidan. It is the present pronunciation of these two characters. So there's still a debate how the actual pronunciation of this name of the people was, what it was actually like, how it actually sounded. But as for now, there is an agreement among scholars that it sounded somehow like Titan, and later on we will return to this question, to the pronunciation of the name of this people. The first mentions about the Khitans were already in the 6th century, and it was actually the Weishu, one of the Chinese historiographical works of the famous 24 historiographic works. So Wei Shu already mentions the Khitans. As for now, scholars think that the Khitans were actually of Xianbei origin. Xianbei is also one of the great steppe area peoples, and we now think that their name were pronounced as somehow as Serbi in these times, represented by these two Chinese characters that are pronounced now in modern Mandarin as Xianbei. Of course, this pronunciation is not representative for the time when they were used in the Wei Shu. So that is why we think that according to our knowledge about the Chinese writing and our assumption on the pronunciation of old Chinese, we now think that these two characters were pronounced as Serbi. They lived together on the grasslands with many other steppe peoples, and in the 7th and 8th centuries, together with the Uyghurs, about whom you have already great knowledge, and after the fall of the famous Anlushan rebellion in 755, the Khitans became vassals of the Uyghurs, and they were actually the vassals until the end of the fall of the Uyghur Khaganate in 840, and as long as until the emergence of a great leader who was Yelu Apaochi, there were not really other important events in their history. But when Yelu Apaochi emerges from the tribe leaders, he unites the Khitans, and in the beginning of the 10th century, he becomes the utmost leader of this tribal conglomeration, and he is the supreme leader of the Khitans until his death. And only in 1916, it is only 916 when the Liao dynasty is officially formed, and Yelu Apaochi only receives the title Taizu when he already died, and he gets this Taizu title posthumously. The Taizu title in the Chinese system of the emperors always designates the first emperor of a certain dynasty. So this is his posthumous name. Okay, that was a very short summary about their history, and now let us talk a little bit about the Khitan language. So when the Mongolian Empire comes to existence in the 13th century, the Khitans are subdued by the Mongols, and they already subdued firstly by the Qin dynasty, the Jurchens, and when the the Mongol Empire comes to existence, both the Jurchens and the Khitans are under the Mongolian rule. So, but the Khitans, the people, is still there. Some of them flee to the western areas, but most of the population remains where they are, and slowly they merge into the huge conglomeration of peoples during the Mongol and later the Yuan times. So their language, their writing is losing its importance, and it is forgotten after all, and it is basically unknown for a very long time after the collapse of the pre-Genghisid empires. And it is only the recent research. It is only actually the research of the past century that makes it clear that the Khitan language and the Khitan peoples belong or actually are related to Mongolian language and to Mongolian people. As there are many different characteristics of Mongolian and Mongolian proper and Khitan, now we think that Khitan probably belonged to a branch of languages that was separate from Mongolian proper. That means that they did not have a direct common ancestor. And that is why that since the coinage of this term para-Mongolic by Jan Hunen in 2003, we are calling this branch of languages para-Mongolic. I will talk a little bit in detail about that later. Actually, the branch of philology that is called Khitanology now is also a relatively recently coined term. So like 20 years ago, no one actually spoke about Khitanology. It is also a relatively recent term. A few words about the main sources, and I have to emphasize that these are only the main sources and not all of them. But in a short lecture like this, we cannot go into deeper details. So I will talk about only the main ones. First of all is the Liao Shi, the official history of the Liao Empire, of the Liao state. But we have to handle this source with care because it was only compiled in the 14th century, so that is more than 2 centuries after the collapse of the Khitan state. And but what is very important here is that this historiographical work contains a glossary, Khitan Chinese glossary, and it is a very important source about the language. As only when the first Khitan script inscriptions were found in the past century, had we access to Khitan monuments, language monuments, but up until that time we had only these Khitan sources available in Chinese scripts, Chinese script only. The other important source is the Qidan Guozhi. It was an unofficial historiographical work, but the Liao Shi contained some parts of the Qidan Guozhi. So it was, although it was only an unofficial source, the official sources also used its material. And let us jump now a huge period of time and to the beginning of the 20th century. So as I told you, the Kitan language and script was forgotten for like 700 years. And in the beginning of the 20th century, in 1922, a Belgian missionary called Louis Kervin, or his Chinese name was Meiling Rui. He found the first epitaphs buried in China. Actually, he didn't have direct access to the inscriptions, but he had some Chinese scholars to copy the inscriptions for him, because these inscriptions usually belonged to burial places, and these burial chambers were most of the time they were underground, and many times, like in this case, they were covered by water. So it was very difficult to get access to these inscriptions. But anyway, he got some Chinese literati who copied the inscriptions for him. First, he thought that these inscriptions belonged to the Liao Daozong emperor, but later scholarship found out that there was a mistake in the dating of this inscription. So now it is clear that the owner of this tomb and the inscriptions was Shenzong Emperor of Liao and his wives. So that was the first unearthing of Khitan script for many centuries, and they kept finding other inscriptions during the first half of the 20th century, but the real acceleration of findings and the numbers in numbers only the second half of the century produced higher numbers of the findings. So once scholars had these numbers increased during the 20th century, they had access to more and more sources, and they could start to work on the decipherment of the script, because up until now, the Khitan script is not deciphered. So let us talk about now the Khitan script a little bit. As you may know, there were two Khitan script systems, and for a very long time, scholars couldn't even make a difference. They couldn't have distinguished these two systems from each other. For instance, Ligeti, the famous Hungarian philologist and Orientalist, thought by the time that this Khitan small script was actually the Uyghur Mongol script. We now, of course, know that it is not true, but by the time they couldn't tell the difference between Khitan large script and Khitan small script. In this chart, you can see the Khitan large script that was introduced by Abaoji himself, so by the emperor, in 920, and it was compiled after in a Chinese pattern. So if someone reads Chinese, he or she will know the system. It means that one character represents a whole word, regardless of the number of syllables. Of course, in Chinese, the number of syllables represented by a single character is one, but in Khitan that was not the case. So a single character could represent a whole word of more than one syllables. So it is logographic in this aspect, just like Chinese, but it can be it's not syllabographic because it's not necessarily representing it is not necessarily representing only one syllable. So this is because of the characteristic of the Kitan language itself, which is polysyllabic and agglutinative, very different. It is a very different system from that of the Chinese. And here's a chart of Kitan small script. So someone who doesn't know the two systems may not seem obvious differences between Kitan small and Kitan large script, but there are some very great differences between the two systems. So Kitan small script, unlike Kitan large script, is syllabographic. That is one character to one syllable, which means that since Kitan is a polysyllabic language, that means not only one syllable can form a single word, that more than one of these graphemes may constitute a single lexeme, a single word. So when they were using Kitan small script and they had polysyllabic Kitan word to write, they had to combine these characters, and they just put these characters next to each other. So that is why Professor Kara called this Kitan small script as Kitan assembled script, because they put as many characters next to each other as it was necessary to write down a single word. So if it was two-syllable word, they used two characters. If it was three-syllable word, they used three characters, and so on. Okay, here's a mirror that was the backside of which was written in Kitan small script. As you can see in this, can you see my cursor?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so like here, you will see a few Kitan small script characters combined together in one block. Or here also, you will find here at some places where there was only a short word, one grapheme would suffice if it was a single syllable word. But whenever they needed more than one syllables, they made up blocks like this to represent a polysyllabic word. So this is a mirror from this period. Here we are seeing.
Akush, your microphone has a problem.
Oh, sorry. Now, can you hear it? Wait. Sorry. Now can you hear me?
Ben şu an duyamıyorum. Duyan var mı acaba?
Can you hear me?
We hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it was only at Professor Elma's. So here we see the famous Taozong inscription. On the left side, you will see the Kitan small script. And on the right, you will see the Chinese version. So this is very important because here we see the same text translated to Chinese from the original Kitan. And this is of course very important when an unknown script is about to deciphered. So here also we will see some characters that are representing only one syllable, and these are single characters. And you will see groups of or blocks of characters that are representing polysyllabic words. Otherwise, and here it is a very well readable Chinese translation of the whole text. The next one is on the left side. We see a coin from the Taozong Shouchang imperial period with Kitan small script on it. And on the right, we see the Yelu Chaozhi epitaph cover page, or cover stone, actually, from 1082. It is also with Kitan small script. So these are very nice and very representative examples of the Kitan small script. Why I talk a little bit more about the Kitan small script than about the Kitan large script, it is because if we have any chance to decipher the Kitan script, we have to start with Kitan small script, and it is because it is a syllabic writing. So it represents it has represents syllables, and it represents sound values, unlike the Kitan large script, which is, as I told you, is logographic, and it represents a whole word. So if we have a chance, and actually we do have a good chance in deciphering the Kitan writing system, we have to start with the Kitan small script. Okay. Let me now say a few words about the Hungarians who made research about the Kitan scripts and language. There will be some overlapping parts, as I heard Bayerman Kaptagayeva's lecture. So excuse me for if you have if you hear something that is being repeated. Professor Ligetis' first paper about the Kitans was as early as in 1927, and he wrote a very important article about the two types of the Kitan script. But by the time the general knowledge about the Kitan, the two systems of the Kitan script was very basic. So of course now we know much more about that. He had some expeditions to Inner Mongolia and Manchuria in the end of the 20s and the beginning of the 30s of the past century, and he made reports about scholarly reports about those expeditions. One was written in French for the Hungarian Academy of Sciences. About it was a preliminary report on the expedition in Inner Mongolia. It is available. It is still available. This scholarly report, and he also written. He has also written, or he also wrote a popular book about his travels and expedition. And the title of which was Sárga Istenek, Sárga Emberek. In Hungarian, it means, it is not a very PC term now, but it meant yellow gods, yellow people. And it was a very popular book of the times. And in this, he also mentions that in Trufang or Olankhad, so this in this Inner Mongolian city, he had the chance to buy Kitan coins, but unfortunately, as of now, we don't know anything about the whereabouts of these coins. It would be really great to have them. And in the first issue of the Acta Orientalia of Hungary, he also wrote an important article about the words of civilization in Inner Asia that were transcribed in Chinese. And in this article, he also writes about the Khitans. Here is the first article of Ligetis. It is in Hungarian from 1927. So the title is The Kitan People and Language. A photo about Ligetis' expedition, on which in which photo we can see him together with his Chinese and Mongolian helpers. Here is the part from Yellow God's Yellow People, where he talks about buying the Kitan coins. It goes, I must contented myself with getting second-hand copies of the Kitan emperor's inscriptions of unknown script, along with those of the Chinese texts found next to them, as well as to take note of the locations of some city ruins and a few traditions. I also bought the Kitan coins offered by the inn owner in Nightingale. Then I continued my way to Wangzimiao. So here's the part where he talks about buying the coins, but unfortunately there is no other information about them. So Ligeti never returned to Asia, but in his articles he did return to the topic of the Khitans in later times. So in his articles of 1950, 1955, 59, 60, 61, 70, he revisited the topic of the Kitan question. In 1978, all of his scholarly notes and manuscripts were given to the library of the Hungarian Academy of Sciences, and according to his will, the notes and manuscripts were kept under embargo until 2017, so until 3 years ago. So 2 years ago, in 2018, the Hungarian Academy of Sciences set up a committee to process these notes. About this processing, I have written an article. It's in Hungarian, but an English version will soon come out. I will tell you about that later. So here are the scholarly notes of Ligeti. Here is the form that he reconstructed from the Chinese transcription. So these information are mostly from the Liaoshi and the Jidanguozhi, from which he copied the transcriptions of the Kitan words in Chinese. So it says Zhao. This is the transcriptive character, so we don't need the Chinese meaning. And here is the Chinese meaning, Bai Shu Ye. It says it means 100 number, 100 as a number. So it says that 100 is to be pronounced in Kitan as this Chinese character, as this Zhao. And from this, he concluded that the original original Kitan pronunciation must have been Zhao. And it is not very far from what we think about the Kitan pronunciation now. As of now, we actually think that the pronunciation was actually Zhao, and scholars have already found the matching Kitan small script character, which is this one. So this Kitan character means 100 and has to be pronounced as Zhao. And we can also find, of course, Mongolian cognates like in written Mongol, Jagu and Khalkhalzo and Daur, which is thought as the closest possible relative, living relative to Kitan. It is Zhao. György Kara, another Hungarian scholar, who also visited many times the topic of the Khitans. in 1975 wrote about an inscription from 1150, a Kitan inscription, and this Kitan inscription was the Xiao Zhonggung epitaph.
Akosh,
Yes.
sorry. Now it will be finished, but we have another next Zoom. I sent the address to you.
Okay.
If it finish exact. Okay. Thanks. Go on, please.
Should I go on still?
I guess there's just 30 seconds.
Okay.
Maybe we can stop and.
Okay, I stop now, and I wait for
okay.
I wait for the link then.
Okay.